My name's Fergus Carr. We've lived on the boat for about 2 years, starting in August a couple of years ago. We were living in North London, and we were lucky enough to stumble across something called the Canalway Cavalcade in Little Venice, and which is a sort of festival of narrowboats in the basin in Little Venice. And it was amazing, with flags and colours and all of these boaters and stalls and all of that kind of festivities. And Chris and I just sort of fell in love with the idea. But I've actually been a boater since I was probably able to sail before I was able to ride a bike, roughly. Just because my parents and my grandparents always sailed, I sort of learned to become a dinghy instructor, and went to the Europeans and the Nationals to compete. We didn't win, otherwise I'd be in the Olympics. But we competed. My brother and I. He's actually gone on to become a sort of, I think he's first officer now on a Russian oligarchs. I don't know if it's Russian or not, but an oligarch's massive ship. You know, those huge liners. Kristen and I decided to settle on a little narrowboat in the canal. It's a lot like camping. It's like wilderness training, I guess. It's I would never say it's easy. You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot of the luxuries that you would get in a flat or a house, like being able to plug your laptop in at any moment's notice and not have to either run your engine or get a solar panel or run a generator. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's a lot more fun. And when you've got neighbours, you get to enjoy your neighbours that much more, because you don't know them all the time. Kristen was in, I think she was working, but suddenly she felt the boat rock, and she found that this couple, they'd picked up some of our plants off the roof, and the lady had climbed aboard onto the roof and started stripping off and doing yoga poses. And the chap was taking photographs of her, which is strange, in a public place, to be honest. When Kristen came out to say, "What the hell are you doing?" they said, "Oh, we knocked." It's like, "Oh, that's fine, you knocked, and then you just climbed aboard." And, you assumed that no one was in, so it's fine to climb on top of someone's boat. I was livid when I got home that someone had the audacity to actually trespass on our boat, which is against the law. Climbing on the roof is a real trespass. That. So, we're in the public realm. It's not like you can go to your back garden and have a lot of personal space. Our personal space is generally inside. Kristen's mother unfortunately passed away, and Kristen inherited some money from that. So we had enough to buy the boat and enough to sort of live and rebrand our life. We've basically retired in many ways. We sort of alternate when we work. So in terms of how we earn money, it's very unusual. In terms of how much it costs on a monthly basis, you've got to buy. The license is actually about $800 a year. It's not much. I mean, that's basically what you'd pay for a month's rent in a flat. Would be a year's worth of license fee. And then you've got to get things like your gas bottles. You've got to get your diesel. But yeah, it's much cheaper than living in a flat. Much cheaper, which is probably minimum £1,000 a month. And then every 4 years you have to do blacking. So you take the boat out, so you have to pay for a crane, generally a crane or a dry dock. And you drain it, and then you can paint the underside of the boat to make sure it doesn't sink and you get rusty, all that kind of thing. It's quite important. The housing market is ridiculous. As an architect, I'm very well aware of how much it costs to try and get onto the housing ladder, and I wouldn't say that we're on the housing ladder, because a boat is technically actually a chattel. It's more like buying a car or a caravan. The idea of moving onto a boat has become very attractive to a lot of people. I think that living on a boat is an option for a lot of people, but it's not and it's not as easy as living in a flat. I mean, it's cheaper, but it's not as easy. And moving on to boats is a very attractive option for a lot of people. But you have to be the right kind of person, willing to adventure. You probably shouldn't be, wedded to going to work in one specific place.